In the heart of Vanguard City, nestled high above the concrete canyons, lived Dr. Anya Sharma. She wasn't your typical historian. At 50, she was a renowned expert on urban social movements, and her penthouse apartment wasn't just a home, it was an observatory. From her perch, she watched the city breathe, pulse, and sometimes erupt. She was a silent watcher, an activist with a lens, documenting the struggles of her community far below. One stormy Friday evening, the city's pulse quickened. A peaceful protest was unfolding on the streets. Chants against unfair housing policies echoed up to Anya's balcony. Below, a formidable line of riot police formed a human wall, a stark contrast to the civilian gathering. Anya, ever the archivist, began filming. Her higher-resolution camera rig, a familiar extension of her own eyes, focused on the unfolding drama. That's when she saw him, Sergeant Rexford Kane. His colleagues called him. He was preparing a chemical dispersal device, and there was an unsettling intensity in his movements. The police loudspeaker crackled to life, issuing a 2-minute warning to disperse. The crowd, though reluctant, began to comply. People started to move, to retreat. Among them was a college student, Chen, who had paused to help an elderly woman navigate the shuffling crowd. But patience was a virtue Sergeant Kane didn't possess that night. Frustrated by the pace of the dispersal, he did something unthinkable. He didn't aim for the ground, as protocol dictated for crowd control. He raised his device, took deliberate aim, and fired directly at Chen's face. The blast was instantaneous. Brutal. A cloud of military-grade pepper spray engulfed Marcus. He dropped to his knees, his hands clawing at his face, his body convulsing in agony. It was a targeted, excessive use of force, a chemical weapon turned on an individual who was helping someone. Immediately, officers swarmed, their shields forming a wall, blocking Anya's view. They dragged Marcus away, lost in a sea of uniforms. But they couldn't block the truth. Up in her silent observatory, Anya had captured everything. Her stabilized high-powered camera had missed nothing. The 2-minute warning, the slow dispersal, Marcus helping the elderly woman, and, most damningly, the deliberate malicious aim of Sergeant Kane. The powerful zoom lens had frozen the moment in crystal-clear 4K, capturing Kane's face, his badge number, and the distinctive markings on the chemical canister he held. The impossible evidence was secure. 2 days later, Chen was released from jail. He was charged with assault on an officer and failure to disperse. His face was covered in chemical burns, and his vision was temporarily gone. He was terrified. The news reports all parroted the police narrative. A hostile crowd, a necessary response. Marcus felt helpless, a lone voice against a monolithic system. He believed he had no way to fight back. But high above the city, the historian was at work. Anya Sharma didn't just see a crime. She saw a historical record waiting to be written. She contacted Marcus through his public defender. She didn't just email a video file. She delivered what she called a forensic video package. It was a masterclass in modern-day activism. First, there was the master footage, the unwavering, stabilized 4K video that proved beyond any doubt that Marcus was assisting an elderly woman, not resisting when he was targeted. It showed Kane's actions weren't just excessive, they were predatory. Next came the comparative analysis. This is where Dr. Sharma, the historian, truly shone. She took the markings from the chemical canister captured by her zoom lens and cross-referenced them with municipal procurement records. These were public documents she had already archived, a part of her extensive research into the city's machinery. Her analysis proved that the specific grade of pepper spray Kane used was restricted. It wasn't standard riot control issue. It was reserved for military and highly specialized tactical units. It should never have been on that street. Finally, the timestamping. Anya's meticulous metadata analysis of the video file proved the 2-minute dispersal warning was a lie. Kane had deployed his weapon almost immediately, giving the protesters no reasonable time to comply. He hadn't just broken the rules, he had shattered them. The public defender's office was stunned. Armed with Anya's airtight package, they didn't just plan a defense, they went on the offensive. They filed a motion for immediate dismissal, citing manufactured evidence and gross police misconduct. The pre-trial hearing was a formality. When the prosecutor saw Anya's evidence, the clear footage, the procurement records, the timeline, the case against Marcus Chen crumbled. All charges were dropped. But the story didn't end there. The scales of justice tipped dramatically. What started as a case against a student transformed into a criminal investigation against a police sergeant. Anya's video went viral. The world saw what she saw, a non-resisting citizen being deliberately attacked with an illegal chemical agent by an officer of the law. The city administration, desperate to control the fallout, tried to offer Sergeant Kane a quiet resignation, a way to sweep the filth under the rug. But the new district attorney, a politically courageous reformer, refused. This wasn't a mistake to be buried. It was a crime to be prosecuted. Sergeant Rexford Kane was charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, the prohibited chemical canister, falsifying an official report. In front of a jury of his peers, the evidence was undeniable. The silent, objective eye of Anya's camera told a story no false report could refute. Kane was found guilty and sentenced to state prison. Dr. Anya Sharma, the historian in the Hi-Res, had done more than save one young man. Her meticulous evidence package triggered a seismic shift in the city. It forced a complete, city-wide review of all less lethal weapons. New legislation was passed, mandating the public disclosure of all police misconduct complaints involving chemical agents. Transparency became the new, non-negotiable protocol. Marcus Chen received a significant civil settlement from the city, which helped him heal and rebuild his life. But the true victory wasn't the money. It was seen a flawed system forced to confront its own reflection and change its rules. all because of the undeniable truth captured by a silent watcher from above. It was proof that sometimes the most powerful voice isn't the one that shouts the loudest, but the one that simply and clearly records the truth. Thanks so much for watching. If this story moved you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more stories of justice and change. We'll see you in the next one.